Hello everyone. Today we're going to work on a color scale, and I just want to remind you that we did a one vanishing point perspective study. So if you haven't watched that video, you may go ahead and look it over. And we did a one perspective vanishing point. And then we had another video with a 2-point perspective, and there's another video where I did just a value study drawing of the cat, and we also worked on another video, a one perspective letter, which is from this part here, and if this is this box here. This box, this square, is this letter here with one vanishing point. And at the same time, we did a little color study with warm colors. But here with the green apple is because green is the opposite of red in the color wheel. And we just for contrast, and then with a cool color around it just to make it stand out. And I did 2 studies of that for this section here. Okay. And today we're going to work on a basic color scale with the primaries and the secondaries, and with a highlight, the tints and the intensities. So we're going to work and start out with the basic steps, and this is to learn to study the colors. So we're going to start with a 6 centimeter measurement down, make a dot, and we do the same thing on the opposite side. Make a dot, we draw our line across, and from here, from the left side to the right side, we'll go about 6 centimeters. Top and bottom, we need 2 dots so that we can have a straight line. And we're going to draw a line segment from the intersection of the horizontal. And then our spaces for the scales will be 2 centimeters. So we'll set it up with 2 1 centimeter spacing, 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 and 2. So we should have 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6, because there's 3 primary colors and 3 secondary colors. And we'll do the same thing at the bottom again with 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. And now we'll go down 10 centimeters. We're gonna have squares. So we're going to draw, for example, from here, from the edge down to 10. Our little boxes are going to be 2 centimeters. Oh, let's try to keep our line straight. There you go. And negative space, nothing's happening here. We'll even it out in just a minute. I'm going a little longer than the 10 centimeters, but we can always come back. This way we don't have to concentrate too much on the 10 for now. So now we can place our pencil on one of the dots and then just look for the other dot at the bottom. And just make sure that your ruler doesn't move. And now we can go and measure 10 down, centimeters again. And we're gonna go every 2. So we're gonna have the highlights, 2, 6, 8, 10. Go to the opposite side, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then just draw my line segments in the positive areas. And the reason that we're drawing these lines here is because this is going to be a color scale of only 5 steps. For some of the drawings, it's about pretty good, 5 steps, with your highlight being number 1. Your highlight is white. Next time that when you draw and you look at objects where you have the light hitting the object directly, doesn't matter what color it is, especially if it's shiny, if it has a smooth surface, it's going to reflect white. Now for the more serious or more professional considerations, you could do a lot more value scales, but for us, for now, 5 would be sufficient. I'm asking all of you in the video world to please like and subscribe. I need your support. I'm a retired art teacher after 44 years teaching, and these are exercises and experiences that have proven through time to be effective with my students. Now, I can guarantee that if we try and we follow some of these basic primary steps, they will help us in understanding and then later applying. So if you're with computer programs, you can apply this. So this theory here. So we're going to use our primary colors first, and we're going to write it down here so that we can remember. And again, this is primarily for those of us that are studying or just curious. Now the color theory is very important to know. So your primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. When you mix your red and yellow, okay, when you mix your red and yellow, you get your orange. I'm talking about equal measurements. And when you mix your yellow and blue, you get your green. And when you mix your blue and red, you get your violet or purple. Okay, so these are our primary colors here. We'll identify them as primary. Primary colors or hues. Hues is another name for color. And then our secondary. Colors. And we'll write in here hues. Hues is another word for color. Okay, and in the step 1, you're going to have your highlight. That's your white. We'll leave these boxes up here white. So this is your highlights. That's where again the light source hits your object directly, and you have light bouncing back as white. And then just for our lesson here, these are tints. Tints are any colors that have white in it. Now in pencils, theoretically, we don't use the white. The white is your paper. And then intensities is the strong pureness of your color directly. Okay? So, we're going to title this a basic color scale. Basic color scale. Now, the color wheel was developed by Isaac Newton. And colors is the breakdown of light. And you'll find your primary colors or your color spectrum, your natural color spectrum, in a rainbow. So white light is a combination of all these colors. In science, if you get lights and you get your primaries, they're going to mix to give you white. And in pigments, it's a different story. So we'll get into that later. So we're going to start out with our red. And make sure your hands are clean, or you can have a piece of paper. And box 1, scale 1, we're going to leave it blank, white. But then here, the name of the game here is to practice our pencil strokes very lightly. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. Okay. And I want to keep it nice and clean because, again, there's scales for this. Later, I will show you a scale using transitions from one step to the other. So what we want to do is we want to come back and forth to cover up. Then the second step, it doesn't matter if we go into this one because this is going to be darker than the first one, and apply a little more pressure. And here I try to have my students feel the strength of their fingers and their muscles on the pencil. And then again, you have to get to know your materials because all pencils are different. So I look and see that number 3, step 3 is darker than number 1, and number 1 is solid white. Now I go to the next step, step 4, and I keep on looking that, and I get my ruler just for this assignment so that I can keep my steps nice and even for this one. Now on the next step, I really don't worry too much because it's going to be darker than what I have up on top. So now I go back, and now I'm going to work into my intensity, and I want to get my ruler. And now on this one, since intensity is the really bright of your color, so I want it nice and strong, intense color. So I get my ruler, keep my pencil strokes nice and even, and then I kind of look back and see if I have differences. I should be able to see the differences from one step to the other. And this is where it's a little difficult because you have to be sensitive to it. You have to look carefully. Okay. And we also want to work on our pencil strokes. We do want textures, but not on everything. Everything is, we want to have control. So that's step 5 steps. Your highlight, your tints that have a lighter, and then into the intensities. Okay. So now my next color is yellow. So now it's going to be a repetition of the same things as I work down.